I just want to, it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you two dynamic educators whom I call friends. The first is Miss Vonda Ashley. She is a math teacher at Winterboro High School. She's been at Winterboro for 15 years. And actually, we were talking yesterday, it's longer than 15 because she also graduated from Winterboro too. And then the next person I'd like to introduce is Mr. Grayson Lawrence. He's the principal at Winterboro. He's been at Winterboro for 14 years in multiple roles. He was the band director, the assistant principal, and now the principal. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to y'all.
Can everyone see my screen? No, I just did share screen.
While she's working on that, I will take a moment and just talk a little bit about our school. Again, I'm Grayson Lawrence. I'm the principal here at Winterboro, and I've enjoyed having my career start here. So let me give you a little bit of history of Winterboro. Winterboro was established, our school was established in 1919. We just moved into our brand new facility back in December of 2019. So we have a brand new school that we moved into, and we were only able to live in it for 2 months. And then, of course, the pandemic closed us down. So this is sort of our first year, I guess you can say, in the new school. But what I would like to tell you about our school is we have about 346 students in grades 5 through 12, about 24 teachers and about certified personnel. And then we have about 15 or more support within our school here. We are 48% African American, 48% white, and then 2% 2 or more races. We are a Title I school, so we receive a lot of funding in that way. And I believe I'm going to take a moment and try to share my screen for Miss Ashley. I think hers is not working. Thank you for being patient. And I will do that right quick here. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes, and we can see the 100 tabs.
I'm sorry.
That's how mine looks.
I took great lessons from you, Miss Harris. And you're going to see a lot of things that you're not here for, but that's okay. Vonda, what's the title of it again?
Go to Define Learning presentation.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yay.
I will present it and you carry on. So Vonda, take it away.
So again, thank you guys for joining us. Sorry about that, just a little glitch, but we have those. Yes, I've been teaching at Winterboro for a long time and been there for a long time, but we are a project-based learning school and a STEM certified school. And in the recent years, we've been working really hard on infusing art into all of our curriculum, not just math in every single subject area. But today, we just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how we worked on infusing art into our math curriculum. And so we're going to begin by showing a quick video of some of the things our students have done within the math classroom, some this year, and you will see a little bit from the tail end of last year, because we know we all had to leave because of COVID and go home, but our kids were working on some really great projects in math that were related to art. And so we wanted to make sure we showcase that for them today.
In the sixth grade math class, we found the area and perimeter of the walls, roof, windows, door, and floor of our gingerbread houses. We then put our houses together and decorated them however we chose to.
In seventh grade math, we created a design for our gingerbread houses and calculated a budget for constructing them. Then we turned in our finishing product. We enjoyed this project because we got to decorate the project with any item that was from home.
In Opus class, we found the area of circumference of circles and used those circles to create our own version of famous works of art by Monet and Kandinsky. We enjoyed Opus class because we painted different art pictures like Pablo Picasso.
In 8th grade math class, we explored the number system with our quilt square designs. We found all the perfect squares in our designs and then colored our designs. We found the fraction and decimal for each color we used and determined if those numbers were rational or irrational.
In 8th grade math class, we used Desmos to help create linear equations and line designs to be used in our faux stained glass art. Some of us drew our own graphic and found a graphic that we included in our line design. Then we painted designs onto glass frames. We enjoyed this project because we got to learn a lot of new things about stained glass.
After renewing transformations and reading everyday use, we took our knowledge and created an everyday use quilt. We had to work within a coordinate plane and transform triangles to make the correct pattern for our quilt rows and squares. I enjoyed this because I got to do a hands-on project.
After reviewing how to identify slope as well as how to find slope on a coordinate plane, we applied our knowledge to graph our names in creative ways. Once graphed, we had to find the slope of each line. I enjoyed this project because I was able to express my creativity in a positive way.
Okay, so that's just a few of the ways our kids have been working on infusing art within a math class. In that particular 7th grade Opus class, I do co-teach that with our wonderful band director and music teacher, Ms. Cooey. And we do a lot of hands-on art projects, not just with painting, but with music as well, in order to learn the different concepts of math. So the kids get a really good kick out of that. We want to now briefly talk to you about maybe just some tips for infusing art into your curriculum. You got it, Mr. Lawrence.
Doing it. That's right.
So what I find for me in the classroom as a teacher, I try to pair it with topics that fit naturally with math, such as geometry and functions and things like that. It kind of makes it a little bit easier on me, and and makes it more understanding for the kids to connect that with art. Also, I lean a lot on the interests of the students, what they may be interested at that time. We use holidays for inspiration. As you saw for Christmas, we did the gingerbread houses. Also, we should be open to include many forms of art, not just painting, but like I said, we also use music. But any form of art is welcome to be included in math class, such as creating art, creative writing, and dance. But I also think it's important that little nuggets of art are introduced weekly, not just in projects. I think it's very helpful, like in guided note taking. I know that if you have students like mine, they love to doodle and they love to draw. And I feel that they really connect with the content when they're able to actually doodle, draw with their notes. It helps them study better. And it helps them kind of relax if we're dealing with content and math that is hard for them to understand. So how do we plan for projects? We have a bullet list here of things that we do to plan for projects, but I think now Mr. Lawrence is going to go in a little bit in more detail on some of these things that we do in order to plan for our projects as a staff.
Yes, as you all know, taking the time to collaborate with others is super important, and that is what we live by here. We provide opportunities for teachers to plan collaboratively, and this is how. And I'm going to take you through a quick rundown of how we plan for our PBLs, particularly with our art-infused math. But we start with our learning goals, and we always try to time it as well, just like you would time something in class, because you can go down a rabbit trail, as I like to say, if in planning something kind of outside the box here. So what we start with is our learning goals, and kind of we guide of what do I want our students to be able to know by the end of the project. And of course, in these learning goals, you include that your content standards here, and thinking about ways in which they'll make real world connections. After we look at our content, we try to plan a really fun, engaging entry event. Entry events are super important. Nobody reads a book if there's not something that hooks you to that book. So we try to create some type of event for our projects at the very beginning that hooks our learners. And so the question we ask ourselves here, and we take about 10 minutes to plan this out, is will students be able to make a connection to the project through this event, and will they be engaged? An event that I talked about or I would like to share, and I know Ms. Ashley has one that she would like to share as far as her art work goes, but I had a teacher that was going to be doing a project, writing a book with her class about how stories make you feel. And so our entry event was to simulate September 11th, 2000. And that was, when the Twin Towers were attacked. And I came over the intercom in the classroom, and of course this was simulation, said, I said the teacher's name, I would like you to turn on your TV to the news. And they did so. And anyway, that was something that hooked the kids. Of course, we made sure they knew this wasn't real at the very end, so we didn't have tears or anything, but that was something that we had that hooked them. And Ms. Ashley, you want to share your entry event?
One of the things that Ms. Koo and I have did in Opus class for the kids, because we were doing a project related to geometry, is that we actually took them on a field trip. So a field trip to the Birmingham Museum of Art, which is a place many of them had never been before. And so it kind of just opened up their eyes to art and culture. And that was one of the main things we were trying to do within the project we were working on, is interject culture and art throughout the school. And so we went to the Museum of Art, and they got to see how art was reflected in the culture.
Another component of our PBLs is, of course, looking at the 4 C's. If you were watching the main address by our superintendent and central office leaders, this was something that we used to start our journey into PBL. And what you can incorporate all of them, but we ask teachers to particularly use one. And so what skill the 4 C's need to be enhanced in your classroom is a question we ask them to consider. And then, think about what competency blends best with their content or the significant content being taught. And of course, thinking of those rubrics to include for these competencies. Also, we marry STEAM or STEM and PBL. It's not something separate. It's just married, and we do it all in one. It's not you do STEAM one day and then PBL another. It's all intertwined, so it's not separate. So we also ask teachers to connect their significant content to STEM activities or STEAM activities. And, of course, that word's interchanged. Just add the A for art, and that's I love the art component, as you can see here, but our students showing understanding of the content through problem solving with the EDP or engineering design process. So in all we do, we try to include that EDP. It's just a step-by-step to learning.
So what are some benefits for infusing art? Why should we even do it in our math curriculum? Well, of course, it's going to engage our students. It's going to make them want to get more involved in the content. It's going to spark creativity. It's going to highlight some unique abilities that you probably hadn't even noticed in some of your students. But for me, I think the most important thing I like to say is like therapy for the soul. To me, doing any type of art is like therapy for the soul. And I like the fact that it also enhances social emotional learning. I got this information from the CASEL site, the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. And it said that research that has shown that teaching practices such as cooperative learning and project-based learning all help to enhance the social emotional learning of our students. So I think we're off to a good start. We have PBL, we have STEAM activities going on in our school, but what we're also doing, we're enhancing that social and emotional learning aspect that our kids really need. The CASEL framework for SEL said the programs are there to promote student self-awareness, self-management. Could you move to the next slide, Mr. Lawrence, if you don't mind? Thank you. So there's the framework for social and emotional learning. And it's there to promote student self-awareness, self-management, relationship and responsible decision-making skills, to improve their overall attitudes and beliefs about selves and others and the school. And so it is a great benefit to including art and projects and PBL and STEAM into our curriculum, because there's such a great return from it. There's been much research that has shown that if these programs are implemented in school, you're going to see a great improvement in social emotional skills, attitudes, a decline in anxiety, behavior problems, and even substance abuse. So I think that's why I'm so big on it. Like, it's therapy for the soul. I've seen how my kids, they kind of just relax and slow down when we're doing anything art related. No behavioral problems, no anxiety, nothing. So a big advocate for including that into your curriculum, especially math. Okay, so we want to just take a moment for you to think of it, just one keyword or phrase that stuck with you in the presentation. And I'm not sure if it's going to allow you to do it, since I'm not doing it, Mr. Lawrence, and I don't know if it's activated like it needs to be for them. Can they go to the poll?
Could you copy it into the notes?
Let's see.
We could put it in the chat.
Chat, yes.
I see a lot of words popping up already.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, y'all have had a lot.
Anxiety, yeah.
Teamwork,
Yeah.
relax,
Mhm.
reduce anxiety. Amy said student connections,
Yeah.
integration. Mary said engagement. Sally said collaboration.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. All of those words, that's definitely what I see in the classroom when we do these projects and we do integrate the art into the projects that we use. I see all of that. I see the connections of the students, especially the collaboration. That's usually one of the main C's that we focus on whenever we plan a project. That's usually the one I go to, because I know the kids need that. And that is our main focus when we do these projects.
All right, well, our time is now up. Thank you so much, Miss Ashley and Mr. Lawrence, for talking to us about infusing art and math. If everyone, I dropped the link in to get back to the main page. If everyone could click on that, we'll see you back at the main page.
Thank you.